Hello everyone, welcome to What If Rias Seals Herself with Trihexa and becomes the Demon of Betrayal Movie. Before we start, please go support God of Hope for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistaken characters' gender, but of course Rias is a female. Out of envy. Out of jealousy. For being overshadowed by Issei. He lost his beloved dragon because of those trivial things. It was too late to realize what he had done and to be able to remedy it. At the hands of Kokabiel. Lost it. Now he carries a great sin that will never be erased. Join me to learn this story. The story of the well-known Rias, the Demon of Betrayal. Prologue. Rias ran through the city. It was raining cats and dogs while several people, street demons and the occasional evil dragon were lying dead on the streets and buildings. She ran desperately to find someone among all this tragedy. Rias. She was running. I love you, Rias. His breathing was labored. I. His anguish increased. Because I am your pawn. And her fear did not let her. Will you marry me? I see. But when I arrive at the park. The place where it all began. He could see something that would be in his memories for all eternity. It was Issei on the ground leaning against a fountain. But the spear of light stuck in his chest bathed in Samuel's blood. And the bearer of that spear none other than Kokabiel, who looked at her with satisfaction. Rias, I'm sorry I'm not what you wanted. She couldn't speak, she just looked helplessly. Thank you for everything, may I be coughing up blood, may I be happy with Razor. She wanted to tell him the opposite, that she will never be happy if he is not by her side. And without being able to finish. Crying blood. Well Ice. Because I did it, because I pushed you away from me. The dark energy was emerging from her body. His face and body were covered by darkness and the power of destruction. And the ground beneath her sank at the contact with darkness and destruction. And throwing a heart-rending cry to the rainy and cloudy sky. A colossal pillar of dark energy covered everything that remained of the city. And? Why did I betray you? Chapter 1. It's been 6 days since that incident. Those days the DXD team fought with a few remnants, and also the seal began to wane where the leaders fought against Trihexa. Issei was declared killed in action. Rias was declared missing in action. It was thought to do something. Until she appeared. They all tried to calm down when they heard from the mouth of the one who was going to be the matriarch of the harem that she was the one responsible for the brown-haired girl no longer existing. The reactions were like this. The Keno collapsed like a puppet whose strings had been cut. Asia fainted from shock, as did Arena and Ravel. Zenobia with Durandal wanted to avenge her death by killing her, something she wanted, she would not have refused. Hineko also fainted, but Kuroka managed to prevent her from hurting herself or committing suicide, although she had to make a superhuman effort not to burst into tears. Ross locked himself in his room. He spent every day crying. Lefay did not accept it, he called Rias a liar, but Arter tried to calm her down so she would not fall into depression. His male companions like Kiba and Gasper silently cried for not having been able to do something to avoid that tragedy. And Vali, he just walked away so as not to be seen for a long time, knowing that he lost a great rival and above all a friend. Everything was tragedy and pain. That day was the beginning of the darkest days for the supernatural world. A storm without rain. Lightning illuminating the dark night. And on the balcony of a mansion. There was a Redeed who now had no emotions. She just stared into space, waiting for a lightning bolt to kill her. But he also looked at the ground, a big fall. It crossed his mind to jump and see if he died. I wanted to die. She killed her beloved dragon all out of envy and jealousy that blinded her. He just wanted to die, knowing that now his life had become grey and dark. Ice, forgive me. Tears ran down her cheeks and fell to the cold ground. Despite these suicidal thoughts, he already had a plan, not only to make up for his mistake a little. If not so he can meet his beloved dragon in the afterlife. Oju-sama, my name is. She turned to see her beloved sister-in-law whom she had loved as a sister. Yes, Grafia, I want to talk to you. The next day everyone was present. Without exception. And in front of them was the heiress of the Gremory clan. Most of them looked at her with hatred, resentment, anger. It hurt her, but she knew she deserved it and more for the sin she had committed. I called everyone because I'm going to do one last act. This was previously a plan that Ice wanted. Don't give me that, Gremory. It was Zenobia who interrupted. She was silent. After killing Issei-sama, how dare you name him? Ravel said it now, she hadn't stopped crying for days. Girls, I understand that you hate me, I understand that right now you want to kill me to avenge Issei, and I would gladly let you do it, but I want to make what I'm about to do worth it. Rias, what are you talking about? Father, mother, girls, everyone, this is my farewell. That upset everyone. Do it now. And behind her a portal appeared and she was smiling. He launched himself into the portal. They tried to stop her, but Grafia blocked their way with a barrier. A few seconds passed until the leaders and several supernatural armies were expelled from the portal. Among them the Mao Lucifer was in shock. And the Mao Leviathan cried and looked at the others with hope. Hope that what Rias had said was not true. It's not true, tell me it's not true, tell me it's a lie. While inside the seal a certain Redeed closed the portal looking at everyone for the last time. Then he looked at the beast recovering from a powerful attack. I just look at her. True sins can never be atoned for. Grafia's words still echo in his mind. But. I know, but they can be forgotten if the origin disappears. I will take my sin to the grave so that it is forgotten. The beast recovered and looked at the girl who with her hands prepared her power and ready to fight until the death. Let's have a duel, she spoke without fear, eager to begin. Wishing not only to die but to be able to release all his hatred for his great mistake. Releasing a few tears of rage, further increasing his power. The beast roared in anger, accepting the challenge. Let's see who gets to hell faster. She threw herself into the fight. It was launched. To his supposed death. I'm on my way, Ice, wait for me. Chapter 2. I waste time. 5 years to be exact. The supernatural world was no longer so secret. Human governments discovered them and that led to many conflicts. Conflicts that wiped out more than half of the human population. And great losses in the supernatural. Now the cities are half populated. Resources are slowly thriving again. Species that were once endangered now have stable populations thanks to little human intervention. All this was done by a war that the damn Kokabiel managed to do. He fulfilled his goal of creating a war. And that's my report, said a golden lock through a magic hologram. How are things on the other fronts? Asked Redeed, looking seriously at the other leaders in the holograms. On the Yokai front things are quiet, which is not a good sign. In heaven we have not received any attacks from Kokabiel's lackeys. In Asgard we are the same. Surzich, you still don't know what that crazy Kokabiel is planning now, but we have to be prepared, said the former leader of the Fallen. I know. The meeting continued until it ended and then the Mao left with his wife. Is there anything new, Grafia? None. And what about them? It seems that they have decided to move on with their lives, and the truth is that I was surprised that it only took them 2 months to continue. I know it seems that the love they felt for Issei-kun was only a passing one. Rias, yes, I really love him. I still regret letting her into the label. If only I had. The result would be the same. That day we lost much more than we imagined. He looked into nothingness, remembering those happy days. But. He walked again with a serious look. But now is not the time to complain, we have a war to win. Knowing that now regrets will be of no use. While in the middle of nowhere. The portal opened. And from it came someone who slowly looked at everything. What happened? The person looked everywhere and then used a magic circle and left there. Appeared in a city. I look everywhere. He could see that the houses were abandoned and the cars abandoned due to vandalism. Few people were walking. What's going on? She continued walking until she reached a newspaper shop where the headline had a news story that shocked her. The war continues, will Kokabiel win? What? Impossible, I killed that son of a hitch. Hey girl. She turned to see an old man putting down a stack of newspapers. If you're not going to buy something, you better get out. And without wanting any problems he left, but not before taking that newspaper without the owner noticing. He walked away until he reached the top of a building. He read the whole news. He didn't know what to say when he learned that the world was in crisis thanks to the fact that Kokabiel, with the help of Risivam and Loki, had started a war where, using a forbidden spell and with Office's blood, they managed to eliminate 70% of the human population in one day and out of nowhere, causing them to declare war on the supernatural. A three-way war between the forces of Risivam, humans, and supernaturals. And that was 5 years ago. 5 years, but I was with the label for 2 years. I didn't know what was happening. But the only thing that mattered to him was one thing. Kokabiel, I will avenge Ice with your blood. And determined, she used a magic circle to go straight to the underworld. 2 weeks have passed since she returned to the world, and since then the Alliance has received news of destroyed outposts and several of Risivam's generals killed by someone unknown. Surzich sent for that stranger hoping to have him as an ally. There is only one clue in all his murders that he leaves behind. Betrayal. But what no one in the Alliance knows is that they will receive very shocking news. Surzich, something has happened, Azazel said in a hologram. Azazel, what's happening? Loki, one of Risivam's strongest generals, was killed. That. The Redeed read the report, excited that the god had died, and what surprised him most was the same image as the other generals who supported Risivam. Betrayal. How the hell did this happen? Surzich Sama, the front of the capital is under attack. It's Kokabiel's forces. Grafia's news brought him out of his lethargy. Gather as many troops as you can, we have to go, I'll call the others, I hope it's not too late. Just then the troops arrived and a battle began in which the forces of the underworld fought bravely against the legions of renegade demons and evil dragons that worshipped the capital. Surzich arrived with Azazel and Michael to confront the leader, Kokabiel. But no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't do anything. Surprised, you see, you will never be able to beat me because I have something that I obtained 5 years ago. What are you talking about? Very easy, Azazel. That ritual in which more than 70% of the human population disappeared was to gather that 70% and use all that colossal energy for our benefit. The leaders were terrified. Look at my chest, I have before you millions of souls that were once human. On his chest a red gem shone, and that gem gave more power to the fallen one. Thanks to this I am at the level of a god and all, because of those pathetic human souls that now serve me to be more powerful. Once I finish with you, this world, the supernatural, the human, all the factions will fall before me, everything will be mine, ha 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 ha. And the gem gives him more power, making him more fearsome. The leaders no longer had strength. They seemed lost. But he received a blow. One who did not know how it came to him without noticing it. And another. And another. And another one. The blows were strong, and not even his power increased thousands of times with the gem helps him in any way. Who are you? Show yourself. But in the distance some footsteps were heard. The leaders. The girls. Everyone turned to see who it was. And it was someone they didn't think they would see. Something Kokabiel did not expect. Hitch, I thought you were locked in the Trihexa seal. I got out for good behavior. She answered, but in her right hand she had something that terrified the fallen man even more. It was something I didn't expect to see. Surprised, Iridid threw the object at Kokabiel's feet. He was the head of the leader of the Chaos Brigade. Was. Rissavam. The old man put up a great fight, but in the end he lost his mind. The fallen man could not believe it, in fact none of those present could believe it. If you expected support from him, then you won't get it. Your troops are being defeated by reinforcements from the Alliance and support from humans who knew the whole truth about that attack 5 years ago, and they're coming for your head. Kokabiel felt lost. What do I mean lost? He was dying of panic. And I'll tell you that when your gaze changes from hope to despair. It is a real pleasure for me. Rias. What is it that his brother couldn't believe it, and even more so when he saw that mark on his forehead that goes through his eye. I can't believe it, this magic power is monstrous. The fallen leader was speechless. It is the same power as that of the leader of heaven. Does not dare to finish that sentence. Let's finish this, Kokabiel, and this time I will make sure that you are completely eliminated from this world. Grimory, your magic power is the same because of fear. He couldn't finish. It seems you realized. It's impossible, you absorbed Trihexa's magic power. He launched a desperate attempt to win. But she disappeared, and with a blow of a sword that she found lying around, she cut off one of his wings, making him scream in pain. The fallen man tried to respond, but she was faster, cutting off his arm. Damn you, bucking hitch. Increasing her power further thanks to the gem, she tried to attack with spears of light, but she deflected them with her sword without any problem. Kokabiel stood behind him and with a spear of light was going to cut off his head, but she just crouched down without looking and then used her power of destruction and with her hand covered in power, hit him in the pit of the stomach, making him retreat. But the worst thing for him was that it caused him so much damage that he vomited blood. His organs were damaged and the gem barely healed them. Everyone present was in shock to see that the strongest of the brigade was now on his knees before the one who was among the street urchins, a spoiled traitor. I can't believe it, he brought that guy to his knees like it was nothing. Saji's words were right. That's how it is. They looked at the one who said those words. It was Office who arrived. What are you talking about? Simple, Azazel. Her magic power is now at that of a celestial dragon, bordering on that of a dragon god, and from what I see she doesn't fight seriously. That left everyone stunned. Well, the Redid just looked at him as she moaned in pain. If you think that because of me the Sekiro died, you are very wrong. You yourself were the one who killed him when you broke his heart. Maybe I pierced it, but you, Grimory brat, made the words of my lackey Rainer come true. She looked at him. Would you die for me? Rias touched Kokabiel's cheek and gave him a smile. And that's why I'll make you pay. The fallen man looked at her with rage. To then be sent flying by a slap that luckily only broke his neck, sending him crashing into a wall. She walked at a calm pace, enjoying the pain of the fallen one. Don't die, I haven't charged you the interest yet. Hey, but you doesn't do things like that, Gasper had said when he saw the completely different Butchu who was now his master. Damn, 1,000 times damn. The fallen knew that he did not ask to win. He knew he was doomed the moment she showed him the head of his leader. There was only one way out left. If I fall, I'll take you with me. And using the power of the red gem, his power increased to the point that his body grew bigger. The gem shone. That was not a good sign. I have already overloaded the gem, and now its destructive power is equivalent to 10,000 bombs. This will kill everyone in the capital, and many more hundreds of kilometers around. I may have lost this battle, but I lost with my pride intact. If you're going to explode, do it, you're already making me sleepy. Rias. Her brother couldn't believe what his sister said. I knew it, I told you she was a heartless hitch, said Zenobia, wishing to get out of the barrier that the leaders put up for the explosion. Say goodbye, Gremory. The Fallen's victorious smile appeared on his face. But without knowing. The Redeed with her hand pierced the Fallen's chest. Her hand went through his back. To then remove it, leaving a fountain of blood. In his hand he held the red gem that was still unstable. He just smiled and then threw it into the air to see how a portal opened and the gem entered. The gem explodes. Within that dimension. But what? It was everyone's thoughts as they watched her stop what would be an explosion of titanic levels. The Fallen fell to his knees. It was obvious. Lost. There was only one thing left. Resign yourself to your fate. Kill me. They were his last words. Rias, don't do it, the Mayu shouted, wanting to stop her. But a macabre smile appeared on the Redeed's lips. And with one hand pointing, his power of destruction mixed with a dark and sinister power. In a single attack. He made the Fallen disappear, turning him into nothing. And the worst thing. His face. He showed cruelty and satisfaction at having done it. The afternoon fell in the capital. And the relief and reconstruction work is there. While the girls watched the Redeed from afar. Some with hate. Others with fear. And others without knowing what to say. Her brother approached her, who was still in the same place with a lost look and without emotions. Smiling with anguish. His brother was standing. Looking at her without knowing what to say. How much longer are you going to stand there, Ani-sama? Aren't you going to tell me something? Surziches could see that in her eyes there was no longer any trace of what was once his beloved little sister. Now there is only an empty shell. Empty of hope. He just approached and fearlessly hugged her. I'm glad you're alive, Rias. I know what you went through, and you were hoping to die there in the sealed dimension. She did not answer. If you want to cry, cry. I have no reason to cry anymore. Now I'm just going to wait for the end until the end of time. She separated and picked up the pair sword after a dark purple magic circle disappeared. Leaving the goddess of infinity thinking, looking at nothing but at the same time. Smiling. There's not much left, very little left. Chapter 3. A year passed. A year in which everything returned to peace. Both humans and supernaturals signed treaties and alliances in which both benefited. Team DXD split up and everyone lived their lives. All. Except for one. That's my report. I congratulate you, Rias. Thanks to you, those slave traders will not hurt us again. It was the Redeed, who now had about 3 black locks on her forehead and was wearing a black trench coat with a white button-down shirt with a tie and black thigh-length shorts. Black combat boots with protective caps, and on the right side of his waist was a silver-bladed Zypho sword with a brown handle. She was in front of the leaders of the 3 factions, giving a report of a mission that had been assigned to her. Nothing out of this world. Is there any other mission you want to assign me? There isn't any. I think 10 missions in a row without a break was more than enough. Why don't you take these days off? I have nothing to do, let me know if there is a mission, and with that she left. Among the leaders, the Mayu only sigh when they see what their sister has become. The happiness she had in the past has already vanished with the death of her beloved, of her Issei. In a not so big and cozy apartment, the same Redeed arrived, leaving her sword and her coat on a coat rack and prepared to walk, taking off her clothes until she reached the bathroom and could take a bath. The water from the shower calmed his thoughts. He killed 20 people who were child traffickers and saw how 2 of them were about to rape a girl, which is why he made them suffer like never before. Even though all the children thanked her, she watched as they returned to their parents. But then she imagined herself with Issei. And a little boy, both holding hands like a family. Without realizing it, his heart began to ache. I missed him. I needed it. I loved him. And still loving him. Ice my ice. He had to hold back all the desire to cry. She knows that her tears will not bring him back from the dead. You know that you will never return. It was dawning. And she woke up. Looking at the other side of the bed. That side that only belongs to one person. To Issei. Ice. After looking at that side for several minutes, he stood up. To start another day of solitude. She walked to the kitchen where she prepared her breakfast and ate alone. The silence. The tranquility. The loneliness. This must be my penance. Herman went to get ready to go out and look for something to do. When he went out, he saw someone he didn't want to see. You laugh. What are you doing here, Keno? She asked her ex-queen and ex-friend with disinterest. I want to give you this. She gave her an envelope which the Redeed opened, then frowned upon seeing what it was. Well, look, your partner tends to cheat on you with other people, you forgive him many times, and now you come up with this nonsense that you're going to marry him. Rias, I love him and don't give me that you're just trying to avoid being alone and you use your lover as a way out. In fact, I can bet that every time you do it with him, you imagine Issei. At least I moved on. But you don't even do it, he's already dead, he's not here anymore, you should live your life and forget about him. Shut up please, yes shut up, I understand what you say, but I do not spit on his name, I remain loyal to him because that is what a woman does, be loyal to the man she loved and will love for eternity. Well Rias, I congratulate you, you are a better woman than me, even though it was your fault that he is no longer in this world, bravo, you good hypocrite. She just looked at the brunette without any emotion. Will you come to my wedding or not? I will not be part of how you threw your life into hell, he said while he tore up the invitation, and with magic he burned the pieces. Fine, whatever you want, I'll send you a video of my wedding, he said as he left. Do what you want and don't come back to me, did you hear me? I will do that. When the Redeed left, she just leaned against the door. She knew that her friends were living in hell because their relationships were not going well. Their boyfriends cheated on them over and over again, and they forgave them. 3 of them, Asia, Irina and Zenobia, got married hoping to forget the brown-haired boy and rebuild their lives, but it didn't help them at all, since their husbands might cheat on them. Ravel was forced to marry Zephytal, the heir of the glacial Ebola's house, and the truth is that she is desperate for a way out, as he often hits her. Haneko is in a relationship with a tiger yokai, and then when she got married her life was a nightmare. At least he had his sister's support. We talked about Kuroka, and it was just like Rias loved Issei and wanted nothing more than to form a family with him, something that could no longer be done, and at that time, she did not want to have anything to do with a relationship, despite the numerous proposals she has received from several powerful yaokeis. Lefei became a great magician who made her brother and family proud, something that did not last long, since the same family wanted to force her to marry, and with the support of her brother, she managed to get out of that problem unscathed. For Swisser, despite having married a warrior in the service of Thor, her marriage was not on good terms, so she asked for a divorce and decided not to fall in love again. Now she lives alone in the fields of Norway, far away from everything. Serafel never married for a long time. Her motivation when she was in the Trihexa Seal was only to see again the brown-haired boy who stole her heart with only brave and selfless acts, but her world collapsed when she heard the news. With the support of Gabriel, who was also beginning to fall in love with him, they both consoled each other. And they also looked for Rias so they could help her carry her burden. And speaking of them. Rias-chan. They both arrived and ran when they saw her on the floor with her back leaning against the wall. Are you okay? Asks the Seraphim. No Gabriel, I don't know what's happening anymore, my friends are becoming strangers every time I try to help them and they reject me, and it only hurts me to see them suffer in their lives, and all because of me. Hey, we told you many times, neither you nor Issei were to blame. My father when he was alive once told me that everything happens for a reason, mistakes and accidents don't exist. I know that at some point we will know the truth and why this had to happen. Despite his depression and guilt, he is grateful for the Seraphim's words. Thanks Gabriel, I don't know what I would do without you. Don't worry Rias-chan, for now let's forget about this and go see Ross-chan. I heard the Kuroka and Lefei are living in her house is what the Mao Leviathan said. Okay girls, let's go see them. And so she with a magic circle went to that place. And in a flash they appeared at the door of a large house surrounded by fields of beautiful flowers. Rias knocked on the door and it opened, revealing a silver-haired woman. I already told you that I don't want dates, go away, okay? It's you girls. Hello. The 3 of them hugged her one by one. How long, Ross? Yes, it's been a year since the war ended, but let's not stay outside, come in as they say in Mexico, my house is your house. They happily entered and saw the interior, which was well decorated. Wow Ross-chan, your house is very nice. I know, thanks to my divorce and my successes in my stores, I was able to create the house of my dreams, one where I would live with Issei and my children. She said that last thing in a whisper, expressing sadness. Something the trio noticed. Ross, if you're going to apologize Rias, please don't do it, that won't bring him back from the dead. At least I tried to fall in love again, but it didn't work. Yes, we know that you don't want to settle down anymore, said the Mao, being sad for her. Issei is the only one in my heart and I will never love another again. There was an awkward silence between the 4 of them. Hey, we have visitors. Lefei appeared, now a grown woman. Lefei, how are you? I'm glad to see you. Kuroka, stop playing Fortnite and come say hi. I'm coming, you bastard. A scream alerted the girls and they went to the living room to see that it was their friend Kuroka with a controller and headphones with a microphone. I was upset looking at the screen. Kuroka, what happened? That damn kid is insulting me again, I'm going to kill him. It's NOOBMASTER 69, again. Ross asked angrily. If that bastard called me a cheap bore, I'll be sorry when I find him. Give me that, I'll take care of it, he asked for the microphone, to which the Nekomata gave it to him. Hey Noobmaster, this is your last warning, either you log out of the game right now, or I'm going to fly to your house, go down to the basement where you're hiding, rip your arms off and put them up your ass. The trio of girls plus Leffe looked at the scene awkwardly, and the Maga just laughed nervously at the embarrassment it caused. If you run, cry to your daddy, you little rat. He leaves the microphone on the furniture. He won't bother you again for a while, stop playing, we have visitors. Okay, at least I wanted to see that rat kid's face when you told him that, said the Nekomata, smiling evilly. The six of them went to the dining room where they were now enjoying dinner. Hey Ross, this is delicious. What are they? Rias asked, enjoying her meal. It's a Mexican dish called chimichangas. Amazing, you should give me the recipe. Look it up on the internet, I learned from tutorials on YouTube. They went from dinner to talking, and even though they didn't want to, they remembered Issei, which made them sad. So they decided to talk about the good and beautiful moments they spent with the chestnut they loved and still love. Hey, look what I found. They all looked at Ross, who had a red music player in his hands. Ross, it is. Yep, this is Issei's player. Let's see if I can link it to my home speakers via Bluetooth. It didn't take long for the silver-haired girl to do it and play a song, although she didn't notice which one she played. Hearing that song, they all felt as if they were in the past, in those days where Issei was the joy of all, where they were all together, united by the love of the man that despite the time they still love. But the most affected of all was the Redeed, as she remembers that once the two of them danced happily despite being told that they looked like blockheads. He didn't care. She only cared about being with him. When the song, all of them felt melancholy but for Rias. He burst into tears. The nearby Karaka and Serafal hugged her, and Ross immediately turned her off so as not to cause more tears. You laugh, calm down Naya. Rias-chan, please don't cry. How do you expect me not to cry if everything that reminds me of Issei reminds me of the mistake I made, and that thanks to me, everything went to shit. My friends hate me and suffer in their marriages, and all because my damn envy completely dominated me. Rias. We better leave this and go rest because they don't sleep here, there are many rooms in my house. No thanks, I don't want to be a bother. I insist Rias, I'm afraid something will happen to you now in the state you're in. Okay, but could you play another song please? Ross was hesitant to do so, but looking into the eyes of the Grimoire that were pleading with him. Okay, but just one more and then we rest. Ross put on another song. But I didn't expect what was coming. That song left more than one person with tears in their eyes. And with that, well, I think it's time to sleep. Let's go, tomorrow we'll hear more. She's done for today. They all got up and went to their rooms organized by Leffe. But Rias looked at the player with melancholy. If you want, you can keep it, Rias. What? No, I can't. It's yours by right, I should have given it to you a year ago, besides, you have more right than me, since you were the one Issei loved the most. No Ross, he never chose one over the other, he loved us equally for what we are, even though I was his main one, don't forget that for him we were the most important thing in his life. I know, I'm sorry, it's just that there are times when I miss him a lot. The Valkyrie couldn't help it, her tears came out. I know, friend, I know it very well. They both hugged each other to console themselves in their grief and to wish with all their might that the man they love would return to their side. On at Ross's home. And they all had breakfast while chatting and saying something else only a woman knows what another woman is talking about. When the Redeed came down, despite trying to smile, it was impossible. She would no longer have reasons to truly smile apart from those who are her friends. Everything was going well. Until a magical hologram appeared in front of her. It was the Mau. Rias, I have a job for you, come immediately to give you the details. What? Wait a minute, Serziches, I told you to give him this week off, replied the Mau. I'm sorry Serafal, but this is a priority. And with that the short communication. And the Redeed magically changed her outfit and her sword to her side, but now she had the player to her right side. I'm leaving, see you later. Wait Rias. Without listening she disappeared. So the angry Mau stood up and then changed with magic. I'll go see where he sent her even if I have to get him out by force. I'll go with you Serafal, I feel like something is going to happen and it will be vital that we are there. Girls, be careful, said Ross, worried about what might happen since she also has that feeling of uneasiness. Don't worry, when we get the information from him I'll give you the coordinates so they can come, said Serafal, ready to go. I'll be on the lookout. And so she left. But Kuroka felt something that not only worried her but also confused her a lot. Something very important is about to happen. In a desolate place the Redeed appeared but frowning. He looked up knowing where he is. In the place I didn't want to return. We come back here cow. Chapter 4. We come back here cow. She looked down, remembering how she didn't want to come back here to the place that was the origin of her nightmares. No. You're the only one we have available. I will continue to say no. I swore to myself that I would never return to that place. I know it must be difficult for you and I understand it, but you must understand that you are the only one who can do this mission. Please, Rias. Tell me the details so I can finish this shit. Okay. I didn't think I'd come back to this place again. I walk a little until I reach the edge of the colossal hole that was once the city where she met the love of her life and where she lost him. According to what I was told, there are caverns below and in them creatures created by necromancers. I must eliminate them before they reach the surface and kill someone. He put on his black fingerless gloves and headphones and then searched for a song on the player. One that describes her perfectly. Putting the player in his pocket, he looked for a few seconds into the darkness of the abyss and then jumped into free fall. She slowly sank into darkness. When she almost reached the ground, fearsome wings made of dark matter emerged from her back, which served to land softly on the ground. The darkness was absolute. He lit a fire from his hand and walked through an entrance that led to the caverns, but upon entering he saw something strange. A fuse box. He approached and, wanting to know if it worked, he raised the lever. Apparently the road lit up with lights that guided her to a straight line route. This is beyond necromancers. What the hell have they done here? He was already wondering what was so strange. I walk along the illuminated path, playing a song I found at random. It was a song that she once listened to with a chestnut when he was alive, when he blamed himself for not telling her that he loved her. He remembers it was when the raiding game was going to be against his cousin. He only had one thought. I'm a bucking idiot, my pride and stupidity didn't let me see what I was doing. If only there was a chance to fix it, if only I could. Thump. She stopped when she felt vibrations on the ground and something appeared behind her. It was a huge and strong being that had blue clothes like a security guard and a hat, heavy chains on his chest, and in his right hand, he had a kind of mallet with skeletal heads on it. That being came out of the ground, and when he looked at Rias, he roared with anger and then launched himself to strike. She dodges and with her sword she prepares to cut him on the shoulder, making him kneel. The Redeed moved away a little but saw how the wound she made began to close as if nothing had happened. The guy screamed in fury and threw more punches. She evaded them as best she could but noticed that the speed of those blows began to increase more over time. That's stronger. With good speed he slid and cut his legs to be able to immobilize him. He kept his distance. There must be some weak point, but where the hell is it? The monster attacked and she by inertia fired a bit of destructive power at the face. The attack was strong, but she noticed something. I noticed that the zombie was staggering, holding his face in pain. Something that made her smile. Bingo. When the monster recovered she spoke. Hey, bad Hulk imitation. It served as the monster chased her. Rias hit the ceiling and with that dirt fell on the guy's face. It's my chance. He used his power of destruction and hit him in the face with multiple spheres, and with a movement of his sword, he cut the muscles of his arms so that he would not be covered. He continued to attack until the monster's face turned completely red from the lack of skin. He was staggering. And without further ado he fell to the ground. Already dead. She approached the body and with dark flames in her hand, she threw them so that they would burn the body, turning it into ashes. As they say, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Well, I hope I don't run into any more of these. He looked for a moment at the path that was still illuminated, trying to figure out where he was going. I must go on and finish this. Then putting away his sword he continued walking through the tunnel. Not knowing that there is more where that monster came from. Office, did you do it? Asked a big red dragon to a lowly in front of him. I did it. We should have waited a little longer, things have not calmed down completely since the last war. I don't care, this has already waited too long and can't wait any longer. The tests were set and the one we chose passed the first one, the other two will test what we are looking for. I hope you know what you're doing because what's at the end of the tunnel will be something that will drive the supernatural crazy. The goddess did not answer him, she only placed her hand on her heart and closed her eyes, hoping that everything would go as planned by her and the dragon. Redeed had been walking for half an hour, feeling that with each step she took, her memories were beginning to catch up with her. Everyone, both good and bad, was in her head, not leaving her alone. He continued walking until he reached what were heavy doors made of pure steel. From what I see, I'll have to open these doors to get to the end. When I was going to open them, the hologram was shown behind her. It was a hologram of a 10-year-old girl with long brown hair and a white dress. Hello. Hello. My name is Azari and I am an AI programmed and created to guide you in this test that you must do. Proof. That's right, this was created in order to discover the nature of life and death and to know how this research could help humanity or what's left of it. And why do you tell me it's a test if this was previously an investigation? It's simple. A year ago, since the war ended, something was discovered that scientists could not describe. It was something powerful that radiated an energy that could illuminate 2 continents the size of Asia for a whole millennium. They discovered it after the facilities were made. And then what happened? I don't see anyone if this used to be a research base. The energy apparently had a life of its own. Scientists and magicians tried to control it with unorthodox methods, but the energy was rebellious. However, when the head of this investigation was going to control it, a very powerful being appeared and killed the boss, and then killed those responsible for the damage. The good thing is that this energy is at peace, contained in a vault heavily covered by metals that prevent its power from being detected by unwanted people and other government powers. The bad thing was that the experiments that were being developed here began to kill everyone here. I was able to contain them, but if you want to get to the end you must go through them. You ended up with one that was called 0011 alias Death, the next one is called 0028 alias Madman. It is very lethal and eats flesh, so it will try to kill you. Thanks for the tip. Anything else I should know? At the moment I am not authorized to give more information. I can only give it when you reach the next test. Once you cross this door, you will not be able to leave until Loco is defeated. Okay, thanks Azari-chan. You're welcome. I'm going to link you to the installation system so that I can provide you with the corresponding data so that you can defeat Loco. Wow, this looks like a video game. Okay, I'm ready. Open the door. Doors open in 3, 2, 1 now. The doors were unlocked until they finally opened. What was inside was a huge circular cage made of steel. Shit, what is this smell? It stinks horribly in here. He walked further into the large cage, but in front of him a putrefied body fell. There's shit. Doors closed. The doors were made to close, leaving the trapped. Okay, this is not funny anymore, it's sad. Is it a reference? I don't know, you tell me. Some noises were heard and from there came out the beast it had to face. The crazy. It was a huge sloth with dark brown fur and prominent claws that help it climb the cage. Crazy's weak point is his claws. You have to be careful, he's fast. I will keep that in mind. The animal, seeing her, tried to reach her, but Rias moved away using her wings of dark matter. The monster, seeing that it couldn't get close, jumped straight at her, but it didn't wait for the demon to use her power of destruction to push it away, and with her sword, she waved dark flames that hit one of its legs, leaving it wounded. 1-3 left. He prepared for another assault. But I don't expect the sloth to start shaking the cage like crazy. I think that the crazy thing fits him. Up on you. The Redeed looked up and saw bodies falling on her. Very clever. With his sword imbued with the power of destruction, he took care of the bodies one by one. When they stopped falling, he looked at the monster, who was now angrier. Okay, this will take a long time. While in a certain mansion in Norway, a silver-haired girl in her office was reviewing some sales documents in her stores and burning some invitations from guys who wanted to have something with her. These guys don't leave me alone. When will they understand that I don't want love? Obviously she knew the intentions of these guys, and there's no way she would sleep with some pretentious gigolo. I'd rather become a lesbian than have one of these guys take me to bed. They knocked on his door and he saw who came in. It was Leffe, who had some papers. Ross, there are some documents about the annual expenses of the shops in Asgard that you should see if you don't mind. Thanks Ravel, I'm glad you're helping me with this paperwork. It's the least I can do after giving me asylum here to me and Kuroka. I already told you there's no problem. I like having them here. This mansion feels lonely with only me living in it. And speaking of Kuroka, where is she? Isn't she supposed to be playing Fortnite? She left and said she had to see Yasaka for a serious matter. I don't know what to tell you, but since Rias left for her mission, something has been bothering her. I hope it's not something bad. Ross sighed, also having that same feeling of uneasiness as Leffe. But they were sure of one thing. Something was about to happen. Ross, Leffe, I need help here. They heard Kuroka's voice that sounded upset. They went down immediately, and what they saw they could not believe. It was that the Nekomata applied healing magic to someone they knew who was lying on the sofa in the living room. Ravel Glacial Bolas. They went to see how he was, and what they saw left them with a bitter taste in their mouths. She was beaten on the face, her clothes were torn, she was bleeding from the forehead, and to top it off, those wounds were not healing as they should, since her immortality as Phoenix did not appear. Something that the Maga noticed and that could know the cause. And even more so when I saw what he had on his wrist. That son of a hitch. Leffe, what's wrong? Ross asked, bewildered, since she doesn't usually use that language. That bastard used a nullifier, a magical object that nullifies any magical ability, since they use it in maximum security prisons in the underworld. While she has it on her wrist, she won't be able to use her flames. That bastard put it on her, so she couldn't defend herself. Now the Valkyrie was furious. Even though Ravel distanced herself from them, it wasn't her fault. She still remembers the anguish she had when she was engaged to that guy. Razor tried to appeal for her but could do nothing. Can you do something? he asked. Give me a minute. She was able to summon magic from her hands without needing a wand. He checked the wrist, and the shackle had a numerical combination. It is a combination of 5 numbers, and there are thousands of combinations. It is almost impossible, but not for me, that's it. And with an orange spark the shackle opened, and the moment she removed it from her wrist, the flames of immortality healed her completely. Well done, Lefay, congratulated Ross. Thanks, I'm going to keep this in case of something, said the magician, putting the shackle away in her personal magic space. 2 hours passed and Ravel was beginning to wake up. At first he was scared when he saw that he was not in a place he knew. Ravel, are you okay? But he calmed down when he saw who was there. With tears starting to come out of his eyes, he went straight to Ross and hugged her, crying. She also hugged her, knowing that her friend was living in hell in her marriage. Kuroka and Lefay also knowing that their friend now needs a lot of support. And it was only without having the opportunity to go after Zephyr. He has no lack of desire to kill him. Ah, what a day. I hope the last one doesn't give me so many problems. The last one will be very difficult. I have my doubts that you can win. There is no invincible enemy, I know it very well. It was Rias who walked straight to the third and final test. He still remembers how he killed that monster. His claws were weak and he made a desperate attempt to hold on to the cage, and when he could no longer hold on, he fell to the depths of the abyss, screaming in anguish and despair. It was a real pleasure for her. Although he admits it left him with some wounds. Nothing that darkness can't fix in seconds. The last test is almost here, you must be ready. I know. Hey Azari, do you know what's going on upstairs? I don't know. I was created with a single purpose. The truth is that thanks to energy I have more or less decent feelings. It is thanks to it that I can interact with you. And wouldn't you like to get out of here? Do you know how to see the world? I would like. Well then, it's decided, you will come with me to the surface. Thanks. I haven't heard your name yet. My name is Rias. Azari. Is something wrong? Nothing, let's continue, we're almost ready to reach the last test. The Redeed suspected. Why did the AI fall silent when it heard her name? I didn't know what was happening. When they reached the last door, the locks and steel bars were removed and then opened. She walked in to see that the place was dark. A huge incubator in which a silver-colored subject could be seen in a fetal position. Is this the guy? Is he the one I have to face? His name was Kairam and he was in charge of this investigation. Thanks to the experiments he ended up like this. His only objective was to control the energy and revive his son who died 6 years ago. Now he is no longer human. Do you have any weak points? He doesn't have any. You must kill him with whatever you can. Okay, as long as you and I agree, it's fine. He pulled his sword out of its sheath and from his pocket dimension, he pulled out a silver-colored Winchester 22. Releasing his magical power that was evil darkness. He must be killed properly. The glass of the incubator broke and the being rose above the ground. Electric rays surrounded him and a huge silver wheel with spikes surrounded him. But the voice that is not human and more artificial, I speak. I am Kairam and I am the one you must defeat. If you manage to defeat me, the energy will be all yours, but nevertheless if you do not succeed, use the energy to destroy the supernaturals. This world belongs to humans. Here we go. She launched into the attack hoping to win and return to the surface. How could you do that? It was Seraphil who was furious with her fellow Mao. I had to do it. But you have to do it. Do you know what happened just by expelling his power? A whole damn city was reduced to atoms. Seraphil, don't think I like doing it, but you know that now she is the most powerful demon ever known in the underworld. Don't think I don't know. Those bucking old men on the council are desperately trying to make her conceive a super demon. Please tell us who asked for this task, asked the Seraphim, fearing the worst. It was Office. Both of them could not argue anything against that name. But still. Gabriel. I'll tell you where we should go to Lefay so we can. Gabriel. What's wrong? This feeling, this power, he said in whispers that they managed to hear. Until they felt something. The sensation. The power. The demons knew how to identify him. In Norway. So Rias Sama is here? A blonde asked. Yes, Ravel-chan, she comes sometimes. Maybe you can talk to her and you can fix things, Ross advised, supporting her. Before my marriage she asked me to flee to the human world and accept being her partner since the council cannot touch her, but I, even because of my hatred for the past, did not accept, and because of my decision, I ended up suffering. I want to apologize and for things to be better. At least you were able to take the step, whereas the others didn't want to. You're right, Lefay, Akeno, Kaneko, Asia, Irina and Kunu didn't want it, were Ross's words. Well, now that you're here, there are more of us in this madhouse, Naya, and we're not going to allow you to return to the underworld with that poorly made monster Kuroinu. That last thing caused laughter in the girls. And you know what, she has it so small it's funny. At Ravel's words they burst out laughing. But something was wrong with Kuroka. Something the others noticed. Kuroka? are you okay? He didn't respond to the Maga's words, instead he put his hand on his chest, feeling a feeling he hadn't felt for 6 years. Then. The others felt it. They were able to recognize that feeling. Then from Lefei's ear a circle of communication appeared. Go to Cow quickly, something is about to happen. It was Seraphol's voice that sounded agitated. We will go there. Moments before. She had defeated the last experiment Aka Wheel of Fate. In a good battle in which if it were not for his immortality he would not have counted. His clothes were a little burned, but other than that his wounds healed on their own as if nothing had happened. Now able to take a breather, he headed to the last door. Rias-sama, now that you have passed all the tests, tell me what will you do with the energy source? I don't know, I came just to eliminate these things and then leave, but since I got here I was curious to know how powerful that energy is and how dangerous it is, so open the doors, I want to finish this once and for all. Okay, starting unlocking locks. The huge doors, apart from being heavy, began to automatically remove heavy locks. There were 5 of them and they were slowly removed. When the last one moved, the edges of the door expelled icy steam. When opening slowly. The golden light blinded the demon's eyes for a moment. When he cleared his vision he saw that inside the vault a sphere of golden light, surrounded by silver diamonds. Around paintings full of art. A sword Ascalon and a chalice, the Holy Grail. And above them the stars shone. He rests at the 3rd gate by the brilliance of diamonds, surrounded by the arts of masters, the sword and the cup, protect his innocence, he waits under the light of the stars, he waits for this day. Rias didn't understand what was happening. You just have to touch it and the test will be over, your answers will be granted, you just have to touch it. I hope I don't regret it. He put away his weapons and then slowly approached the sphere. When he was in front of her with his hand, little by little he was going to touch her. And. When he did it. When his hand touched the sphere. It started to shine brighter to the point that I couldn't see, and out of nowhere. I let out a powerful wave pushing her to the ground. That set off the alarms of many gods and supernatural beings. While in the gap the dragons felt it, smiling with joy. The goddess of infinity shed tears. The wait is over were his words. The demon stood up and looking. He saw that the light reduced its brightness. Then from the altar. Something was heard. She came closer and her eyes widened at what she saw, but at the same time. She began to shed tears, not from sadness or anger. This was happiness. Various supernatural beings from various factions and their leaders arrived at the place where the power originated. The sky was filled with winged beings from angels and fallen to demons and dragons. The leaders and some main gods like Odin, Zeus, Ra and Shiva were there. Ross along with Kuroka, Lefei and Ravel were there in the company of Gabriel and Seraphol. The Keno, Irina, Zenobia and Asia were there. Everyone was there. The gap opened in the sky and from there came the great rat along with Office. She smiled. And suddenly. An explosion occurred. Dark smoke rose from the huge hole in the ground. And from the smoke a shadow with dark wings emerged. To see what it was. The Demon of Betrayal. And in his arms he had something covered with his dark coat. He touched the ground and did not look up, just focusing on what he had in his arms. His eyes kept shedding tears. She walked towards the leaders and one of them came over to help her. Hey, what happened here and what do you have in your arms? Give it to me, I'll help you. He didn't know how, but the tip of a sword was at his throat. It was the same Rias who looked coldly at the cadre. If you do it again I will kill you without any mercy, neither you nor anyone else will take my man away from me. Your man. Aye. The crying was heard by everyone and she uncovered a little to see the face of a baby. Nobody understood. But the girls, the ones who were the lovers of the Sekiro, shed tears. Look everyone, beings from the supernatural world, the pillar who was our hero has returned, not as a demon or a human, but as an entity that is above the gods themselves. Issei Lost has returned. At the words of the goddess of infinity and at the crying of the baby who was now sleeping in the arms of the demon. Everyone witnessed. The return of the hero. Chapter 5. In the underworld. In the capital of Lilith a summit was held between all the gods of different pantheons, and the 3 factions were the hosts of this meeting. In the middle was Rias, who was still holding the baby, that is Issei, and lulling him so he wouldn't cry. The gods were nervous and even more so when they saw the baby. But some in particular saw something more in that baby, they saw ambition for power. Next to the Redeed were Great Rat and Office along with their friends who are Ross, Lefei, Kuraka, Seraphol and Gabriel, who did not want to leave Rias alone, and more so when in her arms is the man they never thought they would see again. But you want to explain to us how Issei Lost came back? Surzich, despite being happy to see his sister's smile, fears that something is wrong with the return of his former brother-in-law. I'll explain it, but I want everyone to pay attention to me. The Supreme lowly spoke, having the attention of those present. Some time ago when Issei died by the blood of Red Samuel and I discovered something that was difficult to explain. There was something hidden in that boy's soul. Those words made all the gods murmur among themselves. When we looked into his soul we could tell what that was. We were speechless for what we had discovered. I started to investigate his entire family tree and I hadn't found anything until I decided to investigate deeper and I was able to find something interesting. Issei had ancestors of Jewish origin, then those ancestors emigrated from the Middle East until they reached China where more descendants were formed, but then more centuries passed until they reached Japan, where they settled in 1890. That someone who had Jewish origins was the boy's deceased father, but by analyzing the gene and the embers of the soul, I was able to discover that Issei is the second coming of Elohim. The gods were surprised and could not believe that this baby was the second coming of the biblical God. Wait a minute, that assures us that what they say is true, spoke Shiva, the god of destruction of the Hindu pantheon. Simple. 6 years ago before he died I took a sample of his blood. I decided to use it to see what happened, and if our theory was true, I took the sample to the system in heaven with Gabriel's permission. I was able to introduce the sample. The results were incredible, since the system worked at 70% of its capacity. That left the god speechless. Gabriel, is that true? Asked the current leader of heaven. Yes brother, the system for more than 30 minutes worked in a great way, only seen in our days when father was alive. Office's words are true. Issei-chan is the incarnation of father, she said happily. And how did he come back? Zeus asked. Thanks to the fact that we are cautious, we put an ancient incarnation spell so that in case he died he would come back, but now reincarnated. In a few words, Issei was now reborn as a biblical god. At the words of the dragons, the gods could not believe that the one who loved humanity and was a god feared by the other religious factions had now returned as a reincarnation. In fact, they could not believe that the reincarnation of the biblical god was under their noses all this time, and they did not realize it. Odin just laughed when he saw that this had gotten away from him, feeling that age was already taking its toll on him. And I call myself the father of everything. Several gods and leaders wanted to have him, and that's why, since we met Elohim before, we decided between the two of us that only someone can take care of him. We put the tests to see if she is worthy, and in our eyes she is the best option, so Rias Gremory. I gladly agree to take care of my man. Even if you don't ask me, I will take care of him. I will not lose my eyes again. She cried and looked at the baby who was happily laughing, giving a feeling of joy and love to the 6 girls who were present and to the leaders of the 3 factions who felt that now everything was fine. Because now his hero is back. But that child must not be in the hands of that demon. His power is equal to that of a god, and I dare say that he will be more powerful than Elohim. The one who spoke was none other than the god of death of the Greek pantheon, Hades. I agree. I think that child should be under the protection of gods so that he grows up like one another. Gave his opinion supporting Hades, and it was another god of the Hindu pantheon, Indra. Some gods agreed and more wanted to unite him to their factions. But I'm sorry, but that only corresponds to heaven, and as leader I agree that Rias Gremory be Issei-kun's tutor, said the archangel. As the leader of the underworld, I support the idea of Rias Gremory being Issei-kun's tutor. Serzinch supported, seeing how happy his sister was. I, leader of the fallen, agree that Rias Gremory be his tutor, but I ask that when he is old enough, he be trained by me and Gabriel, so that he can control his sacred power. Azazel gave his support, and also hopes to be part of the life of the one who was once his student. Imagining how you can indoctrinate him on the path of perversion. I, Odin, father of all, give my vote to this decision, and I also want to train him, said the old green man, imagining having a grandson who follows in his footsteps. The girls knew what Azazel and Odin wanted. They weren't crazy enough to leave their loved one with bad influences like them. I, leader of the Yokai, give my vote to this decision, and I also wish to train the one who saved me. Yasaka could not be left behind. Now that the brown-haired boy returned, he will be able to pay his debt to him, and also seeing him so happy awakened something in her. Something she no longer felt since her daughter made her own life. Everything was going well, but I differ. They all turned to see who said that. It was Akeno along with Zenobia, Asia, Irina and Kaneko. She walked straight towards the Redeed, who had a feeling that something bad was going to happen. I disagree with this decision that Issei be handed over to her, she who was responsible for his death. He should be with people who truly love him, and I think you are not. Gremory. Zenobia supported Akeno's words. We ask you to reconsider. Do you want our hero to grow up with her? She who because of her our beloved died. Asia spoke, addressing the leaders and the main gods. He is too valuable to be with a monster like her. He killed many in cold blood and has no mercy for anything or anyone. Do you expect the next biblical god to grow up with her? We ask for something better, Irina said, trying to have the support of the gods. You must give us up, Kaneko term. The others present were debating whether what they say is true. Rias faced her former queen. What do you think you're doing? I asked him angrily. Just save my beloved, save him from you obviously. Give up on this, we don't have to do this. Yes, we have, now that he's back you won't take him away from me. And what right do you have to say that? I shouted angrily. The right that I didn't kill him that damn day, now give it to me. She didn't want to do it. No. You have no right to refuse. If you have any dignity, then you should know that you now have something that is no longer yours. Give it to me. Rias trembled and tensed her arms, in which she held Issei, who looked sadly at the redeed. Rias, don't make this harder for yourself. Live with your mistake and suffer your sin. Let us be happy with it. I'm sorry Akeno, but she won't give him to you. Ross stood between them. This doesn't concern you, Ross. It concerns me, since you not only hurt my friend, but you also want to keep us away from Issei-kun. If that worries you, you don't have to be, you can join us. No thanks, I prefer him to be with someone who loves him than with someone who only sees him as an obsession. I agree with Ross-an's words. Issei-sama will not go with you. The magician also supported being in front of those who supported Akeno. Issei Naya came back, and I wish that he is with Rias. Naya, that with you, said the Nekomata, would be facing them and looking at the dark desires that her younger sister has towards her person. Issei-sama doesn't need to be with those who forgot him 2 months after his death. Besides, you have your lives being married, Ravel supported. As the sub-leader of the underworld, I approve the leader's decision. Furthermore, they have no right since they are not worthy. Serafal spoke, holding her staff in her hand. As the sub-leader of heaven and the one who has the most relevance in this matter, I give my approval for Rias Gremory to take care of my father's incarnation, since I know that he is in good hands with her, said Gabriel, earning a look of hatred from the religious trio. Akeno was angry about this, now having not only the support of those who were good allies, but also 2 sub-leaders she could not win. Did they forget that it was because of her that we all suffered? Did they forget that because of her betrayal we lost our beloved? Don't they know that now we have a chance to be happy with him, and instead of that they defend this damned woman? He shouted in anger. You don't know what happened that day, Ra said seriously. And you believe him? It's obvious that he cheated on her with Razor. For the gods this was good, for the leaders this was bad. For the dragons this was a dead end. I didn't betray him like that. They all turned to see the Reteed crying silently. I never cheated on him. My heart and my body are Issei's, and my purity is still Issei's. What I did was. Laugh enough, you don't have to give him explanations. We are all with you, and we know that you never betrayed him like that, Ra spoke, smiling confidently. She saw that they supported her only by looking at her, smiling with happiness, knowing that there are still those who are on her side. Akeno on the other hand hated this. She hated that the traitor had the support of those who were her friends and sisters from harem. If that's how you want it. Akeno. The Redeed spoke and faced her. You made your life and forgot about him. You say you love him when you are about to marry someone else. All of you just want to have him because yes, and if you ever loved him, that love died when you cheated on him, and don't tell me it was my fault, since you were even seeing other guys before when he was still alive. That's a lie, Zenobia shouted. We were just looking for experience to be able to please him, we never did. Don't talk, since you were the one who slept with another, and Issei-sama saw everything, Ravel said at Asia's words. In fact, what happened with Rias was a misunderstanding, but what happened with you was real. You don't have the balls to admit your mistake, and now you want to go back as if nothing happened. I used to consider you my friends, but now you just disgust me. Ross didn't hold back. I feel sorry for you, but I love Issei, and I will protect him until my last breath, and if you don't agree then get out and leave us alone. And with those last words, she turned her back on those who were once her friends, her harem sisters, her family. Don't you dare turn your back on me, Rias, I'm talking to you, the raven-haired girl shouted in fury. But she did not answer him. Well, if it's not by good means, flashes of action manifested in his body, it will be by bad means. And without anyone being able to avoid it, a bolt of lightning hit Rias in the back, burning her with pain. She reacted in time for her darkness to protect her beloved. Rias was the cry of everyone who immediately helped her, but she stopped them. Giving to Issei, who was crying to Gabriel. Take care of him. And he gets up even in pain to face Akeno. Is that the best you can do? Believe me, the next one is more powerful, he said, charging another attack. This time he threw a huge fireball at him. The Redeed just put one hand in front of her, and without anyone knowing how, the fireball faded away. Akeno was more furious seeing what happened. Didn't you see it coming? Said the Redeed, smiling mockingly even with the pain of the burn on her back. You can tell me whatever you want, you can kill me, you can even humiliate me, I don't care, but something I'm not going to ignore is that despite having Issei in my arms, you attacked me without caring if you hurt him or not. On his right side his mark appeared, a mark that passed through his eye and covered his forehead. Then an evil power filled with hatred emerged from the body of the demon. That terrified those present, knowing how powerful she can be. And that I will not forgive you, and with a sadistic and cold voice he was going to attack. But. Why I? Rias returned to normal upon hearing Issei crying. He looked in her direction and saw in her eyes that she wanted to be by his side. He moved his little arms so that the Redeed would carry him. Everyone saw that. It was obvious that the baby wanted to stay with Rias and only Rias. Something that bothered Akeno and her group. "Okay, that's enough. If you want to fix this, do it in a fight," said the Supreme lowly, calling everyone's attention. Everyone was murmuring as it seemed interesting. Akeno just smiled maliciously as she saw that she had a chance to get what she wanted. Rias, on the other hand, maintained her seriousness. "I accept it will be between her and us." "That's cheating," Akeno Ross complained. "If she is the demon of betrayal, it would not be a problem for her, since it is said that she has been offered the position of Lucifer 7 times. That's not. I accept." Ross and the others looked in surprise at Rias, who maintained her seriousness. "Very well, it is decided the battle will take place in the Valley of Shadows in 7 days from now. Does that seem fair to you?" asked the red-haired Mao. Both responded in agreement. "Well, I'll end this meeting." And so the gods withdrew and some stayed to talk to the leaders. Akeno along with her group looked at Rias. "Enjoy your time with Issei-kun, because when I have him in my arms, I will do everything to make him forget you for life. You know what, Akeno? In all my life, when I defeated my enemies, when I wiped an undesirable street demon off the map, it has never been personal." His eyes turned black like an abyss of darkness and the mark reappeared. "But I'll tell you something, what I'm going to do to you and your infuriating and cynical group of hypocrites, I'm going to enjoy it like you can't imagine." And from his back huge draconic wings of dark matter appeared, giving him an appearance of power, instilling terror in them that they decided to leave immediately. "Already calmed down." Iridid took Issei in her arms and he was now happy to be with her. "Girls, thanks for helping me." "You don't have to thank us, we are your friends and we are here to support you," Ra said, now touching baby Issei's cheeks with a finger, something that the little one liked. "Naya, not only did you smile again, but now Issei Naya is back. I can't wait for her to grow up," said the Nekomata happily. "Hiroka, now Issei-sama is our responsibility and we must educate him properly," Lefei scolded. "Come on, let's go to my house to celebrate that Issei-kun is back." "Yeah." And all of them with a magic circle were transported, leaving the place before the eyes of the gods Indra and Hades. Who knows what they are up to? The evening has come. And they were all having dinner happily, and even more so now that Issei was with them. Since when they arrived, Ross proposed to Rias that she stay in the mansion to help her take care of Issei. She had to agree since her apartment was very small and it was not suitable for her to raise her beloved alone. Immediately everyone went to get baby things that were these: cradle, toys, corral, walker, baby radio, and several essential things that would be diapers, baby clothes, porridges, baby bottles, breast milk, and what should not be missing? A chair to eat. They were all having fun and laughing. It was a joy they hadn't had in years. Rias, on the other hand, was feeding baby Issei, who was happy receiving each spoonful, laughing happily. "Issei-sama is so adorable. I can't imagine when he grows up he'll be such a hunk," were Ravel's words, which left everyone speechless. Since they don't want to imagine the day when he grows up and falls in love with other girls and only sees them as family. They started to get scared of losing him. "Girls, the future is very uncertain and we don't know what can happen, but what I do know is that whether Ice loves us or not, we will be there for him." They all understood Ria's words. They will do their best to have a place in their lover's heart even if he doesn't reciprocate their feelings. Why is this what a woman should do? As night fell, each and every one of them had a happy moment with little Issei, either playing or dancing with him in her arms, something that the little one enjoyed very much. So much so that I couldn't stop laughing. When it was time to sleep, Rias lay down on her bed with Issei still happy. "You still have a lot of energy, Ice. I see that you will be a very hyperactive child, but it is time to go to sleep tomorrow. We will spend a very special day with the others," she said, rubbing her nose with a little brown-haired boy who with his little hands touched the Retid's cheeks. But at that time she shed a tear. It wasn't from sadness or pain. It was a time of happiness. "You don't know how much I've missed you. You don't know how much I went through because of my mistake, but now I'm going to dedicate myself to you. My whole life will be just for you. Maybe in a while, you may not see me as Rias, but..." She kissed his forehead and looked happily at her beloved. I love you, and I will always love you, Ice, my Ice." And putting a music box. Bringing a melody that calmed both of their dreams. They slept happy to be together again. Together. As it should be. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.